Welcome, Ji. Welcome back to the episode of Kazi. Your guest is still Kazi Akbar. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't do the podcast last week. I wasn't on station, as they say. I wasn't I wasn't in any position to record this podcast. That's not to say कि मैंने podcast record की नहीं है. लेकिन ये सवाल जवाब वाला जो हमारा system होता है, ये मैं नहीं कर सका. So today is, आज क्या तारीख है भाई? Today is the 15th. Or it's the night of the 14th and the morning of the 15th of January 2023. As I record this, I should have my other phone with me because ये वाला phone जो है इसमें सिर्फ this is my old phone और इसमें सिर्फ मैं आप लोगों से बातें करता हूँ और कुछ नहीं होता है इसमें. अल्लाह रहम करने वाला है. And even so, there have been multiple requests of shout outs and people wanting to send me stuff. वो आप Instagram वगैरह पे कर लें तो मेरे ख्याल में ज़्यादा मुनासिब हो जाएगा. I also, for those of you listening on audio, this won't matter to you, but the people watching know that I have now instituted a mic stand. And इससे ये होता है कि मैं थोड़े और सुकून और बस सुकून से बात कर सकता हूँ basically. And yeah, that has, I think, no bearing on your listening or viewing experience. लेकिन मैं थोड़ा सुकून में हूँ, alhamdulillah. All right, let's get into it, not waste any more time. Calling a Kazi for help. Okay. I feel like I'm going to get frustrated here. Chalo. Hi Kazi, my name is / and I live in Oman. I've been listening to your podcast for over a year now. Thank you so much for the podcast. Those conversations have helped me a lot grow intellectually and mostly listen to them while doing my A2 math exercises. You were listening to a podcast while doing math exercises. You must be some kind of genius. Allah raham karega. Can you do me a favor and please give your comments on my university application essay? Your opinion would help me a lot. And the question I've been wanting to ask you is, how do I learn new vocabulary? P.S. It would be really nice if you don't share my name or the essay in a video due to copying. See, I wish I could share your name, but this frustrates me to no end. Checking an essay, editing, is part of what I went to school for. So I have a writing degree, right? One of the easiest ways for a writer to make money is through copy editing services. You've essentially just asked me to copy edit your essay and send it back to you with comments. You've also asked me to not share it in the podcast, not share it in the video, not your name or the essay. And you obviously do not expect to pay for this. How do you think that makes me feel? Because मैं यहाँ पे फारिग बैठा हुआ हूँ आपका ये काम करने के लिए. And you know, this is a visceral, raw reaction, and I apologize if this seems out of character. And I will hopefully this does not set the tone or the mood for the rest of this podcast. Inshallah it won't. Lekin, you know, how would you feel if someone treated you as a mere means instead of an end in themselves? A mere means ये होता है कि मैं सिर्फ किसी काम तक, किसी फ़ायदे तक आपका दोस्त हूँ या आपकी चॉइस हूँ या जो भी आप इसको बोलना चाहो. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like. Just check my essay and don't share it with I'm not even going to bother reading it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to your question. How do I learn new vocabulary? You try read some books. And also try writing in full sentences. Don't use abbreviations and try reading physical books. Don't listen to them. Read books. Moving on. And not letting this affect my mood. Allah raham karega. Okay, this one's long also. But I appreciate the fact that now people have not just started sending me emails, they've also started including topics. So this is teenage troubles, right? Assalamu Kazi bhai, I hope this email finds you in tremendous health and happiness. Alhamdulillah, dude, I can't complain. I appreciate you saying that. I'd really appreciate if my name stays anonymous. It will. A little bit about me. I'm currently 17 years old and I'm doing my A-levels as of yet. Okay. Alongside, I've started my music career and I've already played for 2 of the biggest music festivals of Pakistan. I also work and make good money for myself. Alhamdulillah. My problems might seem petty and extra to some people, but I'm lost as a person. All right, so you've played for 2 of the biggest music festivals in Pakistan. You're 17, you're doing your A-levels. I hope you're studying hard and doing it well. And you're also making money on the side. Okay, see what problems you have. Sorry, I had to cough there. I belong to a very privileged, you missed family. Okay, so privileged family who has always provided whatever I have put forward. Okay. Firstly, I was a straight A star student in my O levels and was expecting 9 A stars. However, my grandfather passed away 3 days before my O2 CIEs and I obtained only A's in all my O2 subjects. In 11 Rajahun, may Allah Ta'ala give him Jannah and give all of you patience. My result is 5 A stars and 4 A's. This can be a problem since I'm expected to be applying to Ivy Leagues. I've recently been feeling doleful seeing that I will probably not get accepted into a top college with these grades. Ivy League schools, मतलब MIT, Harvard वगैरह होते हैं, for anyone who's wondering. मुझे भी बहुत अरसे तक नहीं पता था. Second, I am an amazing musical performer and I tend to bring life and craze onto a live set, and that's what, in my perspective, sets me apart from other performers. However, I received so much hate over this one mess up I made in my first ever live show. I was hated to the point where I considered quitting music. But a very close friend who caused the third and most important problem saved me from doing so. So this friend, a very close friend who is part of the third problem, अभी दो हुए. पहला ये है कि you got bad grades, but that's because your grandfather passed away. This is obviously putting you under tremendous pressure because you want to apply to and hopefully get into an Ivy League school. Second problem is you made that one little mess up, but people gave you so much hate for it. Even though in your own words you're a tremendous musical performer, they gave you so much hate for it that you almost considered quitting. Or you did consider quitting and then this friend saved you. How do I escape this loop of hate formed by people who didn't even attend the show? Third, I know you usually don't appreciate this kind of stuff at such a young age, but I'm stuck and have no one to get to guidance from. I have been dating this girl that I love with all my heart for almost a year and 4 months, okay? My happiness, grief, and in general the emotion compartment is dependent on her. Without her, I couldn't feel happy. Okay, all right. 34 days ago, her dad caught her texting me and took her phone away. She told me to wait, and that's exactly what I did. In the middle of this, I got a text from her saying that we had to end things because of her dad. However, she had always told me that she'd find a way to come back if we ever grow apart. So for 34 days, I tried to complete all my prayers and prayed to Allah to give her back to me. That's nice. That's nice. Allah Rahim karega. 34 days later, I texted her and turns out she's feeling completely okay. She refuses to get back together. When I called her and asked for an answer, what she revealed broke my heart into pieces. So small, you can't even put it back together. No, dude, I think you and I are going to put it back together, inshallah. Don't worry about that, yeah? Don't worry about your heart. You're stronger than you think. She's dating someone else now, and apparently she loves me, but doesn't genuinely love me. I know this seems really petty and extra, but I was really serious about this person and gave everything I had in me to keep her happy. You'd recommend taking up hobbies, but I'm already doing music, basketball, and debating all at once. Fantastic, right? However, out of this period, I've created music I never thought I'd be able to and wrote lyrics that don't seem as though they're written by a 17-year-old. I'm producing that song with a top producer of the nation and we're having it out in a while. However, I don't feel very good putting some art with such a personal story out to the world. How do I be okay with putting this music out and how do I heal from such a heartbreak? I want to attend therapy, but I don't have the courage to speak about it to my parents since they're very against teenage relationships, etc. I really hope you answer my long list of cries. Thank you if you read this though. Read this through. You're the best. Well, I'm not the best, right? But I'll tell you what. So I'll start with the first thing, man. 5 A stars and 4 A's. I think, let me just go back up. 5 A stars and 4 A's is nothing to scoff at. I think with a good enough personal essay and a good enough personal statement and extracurriculars, which you have in spades, the basketball, the music, the debating, I think you should be fine. As far as Ivy League schools go, you just need to find a good guidance counselor. मेरे ज़माने में aspire होता था एक, but I hope you're going to like a good A-level school, and by good I mean somewhere like Nixer, Lyceum, Grammar, ऐसा कोई school, उम्मीद यही है. And so hopefully you'll get in. Focus on your A-levels, get good grades there, you'll be fine, inshallah. And I say this lightly, sorry, I say this lightly or trivially because I mean, clearly, if you can get 5 A stars and 4 A's, you have it down as far as, doing well at exams. And so I don't know मैं और कितना आपको बोलूँ इस बारे में. So yeah, just focus on your A levels. You're fine. Don't worry about that, right? The hatred, dude. Sorry, my throat's all over the place. The hatred for that one single mess up that you did, that's more often than not people's own insecurities. तो psychotherapy में एक concept होता है, it's called transference, right? And एक और concept होता है, वो अभी मुझे आ नहीं रहा है दिमाग में right off the bat. It's at the tip of my tongue, but you know, this happens to me all the time because I'm old, right? Transference होता है, एक और होता है. Dude, what's the... Khair, if it comes to me, projective identification. Projective identification. And so transference में ये होता है कि you essentially remind me of someone from my past. And that someone from my past has such a visceral reaction. That someone from my past causes such a visceral reaction in me that I sometimes can't help myself. And I start reacting to you. मैं आपसे इस तरीके से बात करने लगता हूँ जैसे आप वो शख्स हो जो मेरे माजी में था, right? और जिसने मुझे बहुत अच्छा महसूस कराया या बहुत बुरा महसूस कराया, जैसा भी. But that's essentially what you're causing for these people, right? Most of these people will almost never experience the kind of things that you're experiencing at such a young age. Not the basketball, not the music, not being a genius, or genius to khair main aapko nahi bol sakta abhi, but from your own words, I mean, you're really talented, right? So a lot of these people will never be as talented as you, right? And they won't experience what it's like to, you know, set a crowd on fire, so on and so forth, right? So a lot of it is transference. A lot of it is insecurities. And जो projective identification होती है, वो बड़ी एक insidious चीज़ होती है, बड़ी ख़तरनाक चीज़ होती है. क्यों? Projection ये होती है कि मैं अपने दिमाग में एक चीज़ बना लूँ, एक mental map बना लूँ आपके बारे में कि यार ये शख्स इस किस्म का है. ठीक है. That has nothing to do with you. You go about living your life, I go about living my life. But every time you say anything, confirmation bias होता है because of my projection. कॉन्फर्मेशन बायस ये होता है कि आपको कोई भी ऑब्जेक्टिव इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती है, उसका आप एक नतीजा निकालते हैं. उस नतीजे पे आप पहले ही पहुंच चुके होते हैं, और कोई भी चीज़, कोई भी आपकी हरकत मैं उसी ज़िम्रे में लाके और आपको बोलता हूँ कि देखो मैंने पहले ही सोचा था ना. जैसे आप किसी को पानी उठा के दे देते हो, लेकिन मैंने ये सोचा हुआ है कि आप जो शो ऑफ हो, तो मैं ये नहीं देखूंगा कि उसने आपसे पानी मांगा था या आप उनको पानी पिला रहे हो. मैं ये देखूंगा कि देखो ये सबको दिखाना चाह रहा है कि मैं पानी पिलाता हूँ लोगों को, राइट? क्रूड एग्जाम्पल, बट आई एम ट्राइंग टू प्रूव अ पॉइंट हियर. So anyways, projective identification, right? Why am I so out of breath? Well, projective identification. Projection. Projective identification ये होती है कि since I have that mental map of you in my mind, I try and make it so that you adhere to that to that mental map, to that projective identification, right? So I coax you. So आप ये पानी पिलाने वाला मिसाल ले लेते हैं. I coax you until you react in a way where I'm like, ये देखा, यही बात थी. For instance, I'll start asking you, पानी पिलाने की क्या ज़रूरत थी? You're like, oh, उनने पानी मांगा था मेरे से. अच्छा, लेकिन सबके सामने देने की क्या ज़रूरत थी? भाई मैं पीछे नहीं दे सकता था. But then you keep going and going and going until I make you admit something that will confirm what I believe about you. Right? So that's projective identification. And I'm telling you all this to say these are concepts that highlight the fact that often when people treat you like this, they treat you so badly, it has so much to do with them and such little to actually do with you. It's ridiculous. It'd be funny if it wasn't causing you this kind of mental duress, right? Acha. Now we come to the third and most important problem that you've highlighted. Man, love is love, right? I am generally dismissive. It's not dismissive because I wish anyone ill, but I'm generally dismissive because love is colored by all of your experiences. And so my solemn and sincere opinion here is that you don't really know what love is because you haven't experienced as many things. That's not to say that this doesn't feel bad. This must feel horrible right now. This must feel like the worst thing on earth, right? Because the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right? इससे ज़्यादा बुरी चीज़ अगर आपके साथ नहीं हुई है तो ये आपकी ज़िंदगी की सबसे बुरी चीज़ है आपके लिए. और अल्लाह ताला आपको हिफ्ज़ ईमान में रखे और हिदायत दे, अल्लाह करे कि इससे ज़्यादा बुरी चीज़ें ना हो आपके साथ. Having said that, a breakup is always rough, but what you've been through is not a breakup. What you've been through essentially is some version of betrayal, right? Because she builds you up and all, and she's just like, I'll always find a way to get back to you, this and that. We're in a relationship. 34 days later, before she even got to you, before she even informed you, she's now going out with someone else. That's meant to hurt, right? And so my hope is you're so young and you're so accomplished already, mashallah say, right? And that might bleed into this approach of yours where you're like, yeah, I just need to get over it. Sit with it, man. I really hope you sit with it. I hope you let it hurt a little bit, right? I know you can take it. I know you're strong, right? But also, I know this is going to be extremely difficult because at 17, all you know about love is this one person. This one person becomes the embodiment of love for you, right? And I think like that's how love is supposed to be. Hum jo ye, multiple partners and premarital relationships ke taraf chale gaye hain, that diminishes love for you. So ideally, you would marry this person and that be that. And that would actually be a good thing. That's not a bad thing, even though these days that's frowned upon. And for the life of me, I don't understand why. But khair, as a separate, I might go on a rant here, right? But that's not a bad thing. And this is meant to hurt, right? So I think be easy with yourself, man. And one more thing, यहाँ पे 2 या 3 बार इस पूरे ईमेल में आपने ये बातें की हैं कि यार आई नो दिस सीम्स पेटी, आई नो दिस सीम्स ट्रिवियल, स्टॉप सेइंग दैट. मैंने अभी तक आपको कोई भी डायरेक्ट बात नहीं की है, बात नहीं बोली है, कोई मशवरा नहीं दिया मैंने आपको, और मैं मशवरा कोशिश करता हूँ कि ना ही दूँ. मैं सिर्फ आपको ये बोला ए लेवल्स पे मेहनत करो, वेरी जेनेरिक आप करो, आपके लिए ये मुफीद होगा इंशाल्लाह. और मैंने आपको क्या बोला, मैंने बोला कि आप जो है दूसरी वाली चीज़ में मैंने आपको ये समझाने की कोशिश की कि लोग इतनी नफरत क्यों देते हैं आपको. A lot of 90% of it has to do with them, has nothing to do with you. And I know it's nearly impossible to kind of bifurcate, kind of remove yourself from that situation, but that's what's required because of the kind of talent you have. You want to keep doing music, I think keep doing it. I think there's definitely, if you are as good as you say you are, I wish you send me some music sometime. I hope you send me some music on Instagram or whatever. Sorry, adjusting myself. I hope you send me some music on Instagram or whatever. 1 minute, I have broken my seat. I hope you send me some music somewhere and I'll listen to it. But as of right now, I only have the information that you're giving me. And if I take your word for it, you're fantastic, right? And so there's something to be said about that, right? Lots of people will go through their entire lives and not be good at anything as good as you are at music. So definitely the hobbies need to be doubled down upon. You can't stop. You need to do more of it, right? Really process that hurt through your hobbies. That's through debate, that's through your music, and that's through aapne basketball bola. Definitely keep doing those things. They will help, inshallah. Allah raham karega. Releasing the track, I think you should release it. As long as you're not taking her name, as long as you're not hurting her directly or indirectly. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for her, right? She definitely messed up. That's horrible behavior. I don't know if there is an excuse, right? And I don't know what it'd be. But I honestly, you know what, man? To some degree, I wouldn't even be interested. And that's me being really dismissive. But to some degree, I'd just be like, yeah, save it. I don't want to hear it, right? Khair, that's just me speaking from my experiences. But yeah, definitely release the music. This kind of heartbreak, this kind of strong, potent emotion is what leads to some truly tremendous art, some truly tremendous lyrics, beautiful music, beautiful art, poetry, so on and so forth, right? And there's books upon books on heartbreak. You're not the only person whose heart has been broken, and you're not the only person who has the opportunity to use this potent energy, right? And so my solemn prayer and hope is that you continue doing the good work, and I think you should be proud of yourself. 5 A stars is nothing to scoff at, man. The fact that you're so good at music that you're producing something at 17 is also nothing to scoff at. You might be a prodigy, you might be a genius, right? I just don't know enough to make that assertion क्योंकि मैंने आपकी अभी तक म्यूजिक सुनी नहीं है, right? But वो भी आप उम्मीद ये करता हूँ कि आप मुझे कुछ भेजोगे और मैं सुन लूँगा. So yeah, you'll heal, inshallah, but you'll heal because of all the work that you're doing, not in spite of it or what have you, right? So definitely double down on the hobbies and release the music so long as it doesn't hurt her. Because man, honestly, ek main baat batau, if she treated you this way, I don't think she's worth it, with all due respect. With all due respect, if she's ill-treated you in this manner, I don't think you want to spend another second, another iota of your cognitive capital on this, right? So let the music be catharsis. Let the music draw all this out of you and just be done, right? Definitely do that. Anyhow, looking forward to the music, and one of the top producers in the country, dude. Who are you? Right? Who are you? But yeah, looking forward to the music. I hope you keep doing it. I hope you keep strong, man. But this is so the direct thing that I was telling you. This is something that you need to stop. You need to stop trivializing your stuff. Like, don't do that. That's something you need to stop right now. Khair. Best of luck to you, man. That's hard, right? Teenage heartbreak, man. That's rough. I used to go out with this person when I was 18. Again, similar to this person right here. I mean, similar. Yeah, I wasn't as good at anything as this person is at most things. Studying, music, basketball. Even I can't think of him not being good at basketball. Some people just have it figured out at an early age. At an early age, they're just dialed in. Mashallah se. Khair, what's it called? Just stop trivializing your problems, right? I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So I was 18, right? I was going out with this person, and same thing. I thought we were going to get married. Alhamdulillah, she did not betray me, but we did end up breaking up because I had to move abroad, right? And that was that. And that was difficult also. But this is painful, straight up. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, you're doing everything right, and I am proud of you, and you got this. Believe me, you do. Allah Rahm kare. All right, moving on. Okay, that was a long message. This is not so long, but potent nonetheless. It says, masturbation and porn destroying my life. It's been 3 to 4 years since I started watching porn, and one day I masturbated while watching it. I am 17 right now. Since then, I have a urinating issue because of masturbation, and my prayers have also been affected because of it, since I cannot pray namaz when I have masturbated. Please give me tips to get out of this problem. Okay, so you've been watching it for 3 to 4 years. That in itself is horrible, right? Because and one day you did what you did. You touched yourself or what have you, but 3 से 4 साल से आप सिर्फ देख रहे हो. And that's almost worse, right? You know this, right? That's almost first off, you can't blame yourself because this is a multi-million-dollar industry, and it thrives off getting people hooked, right? So there's that. There's obviously that. But on top of it, you're watching it and you're not even, because the point is for you to, do the deed, as it were, right? But if you're not even doing the deed, and yeah, that's a problem, man. And the urinating issue, you probably want to go see a doctor, right? I can speak on the philosophical aspects of it, might even be able to talk about the psychological aspects of it, which is the fact that if you get used to, watching it and then doing whatever it is that you need to do, you become beholden to instant gratification. And you develop this problematic relationship with it that that is not close to real life at all, right? काफ़ी दफ़ा मैंने पिछले पॉडकास्ट में भी और अपने लाइव सेशंस में भी ये बात की है कि associating sex to porn is like associating real life to action movies. एक्शन मूवी देख के कोई ज़बरदस्त एक्शन मूवी का नाम ले, एवेंजर्स देख के आप ये तो नहीं सोचते हो ना कि यार हाँ दिस इज़ एन एप्ट डिपिक्शन ऑफ रियल लाइफ. No, you know, you suspend your disbelief, right? You know this is not natural, this is not normal, this can't actually happen in life, right? Um, to a large degree, this is the same way, right? तो क्या होता है कि when you associate your concept of sexual intercourse with porn, it'll never feel like it's supposed to feel, and you won't be aroused by the right thing, and that's where your cognitive priming comes in, because you're now primed to understand sex to be pleasurable in this particular way. On top of it, you develop problematic conceptions of what bodies look like, you know, what a man's body looks like or what a woman's body looks like, which again is an immense problem, right? Because how are you going to then unpack it? How are you then going to fix this problem? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I really hope that you can get through this. This is, by the way, this is not, again, something that's unfixable. You can certainly work your way out of it, but you're going to really have to check the dopamine, right? Because dopamine क्या होती है? Dopamine is the hormone that's released जिसकी वजह से आपको सुकून या खुशी या ये चीज़ें महसूस होती हैं. अब आपका डोपामीन जब रिलीज़ हो रहा है इस चीज़ की वजह से कि आप पॉर्न देख रहे हो और आप फिर मास्टरबेट कर रहे हो, तो ये मुश्किल होगा इस चीज़ को छोड़ना. लेकिन आपको जो है ना उस obviously there's some triggers, there's some things that trigger it, right? आप कुछ देख रहे हो, you're scrolling on your phone and you watch something and that gets you in the mood. या फिर आप you know, you're alone in your room, locked, the doors locked presumably, or something. I'm just hypothetical scenarios, right? मतलब exactly मुझे नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है आपके साथ, लेकिन so you want to avoid those situations and you want to get busy doing work. I sincerely feel that if you get busy doing work, meaningful work, कोई स्किल सीखना, कोई स्पोर्ट्स खेलना, पढ़ाई पे बाकायदा तवज्जो देना, अगर ये चीज़ें आप करना शुरू हो जाओगे, मेरे ख्याल में इन चीज़ों से भी काफ़ी फ़ायदा होगा. ये चीज़ें मुफीद होंगी आपके लिए. लेकिन yeah, other than that, the urinating thing, man, you want to go see a doctor. I don't know what's going on exactly, and I'm not a doctor, and even if I were, I don't think I'd be wanting to give you medical advice on a podcast when I don't even know what's going on, right? So, और जहाँ तक रही बात शर्म की, ठीक है, आपको शर्म आएगी, लेकिन ये मसला थोड़ा संजीदा मसला है ना, थोड़ा सीरियस मसला है, क्योंकि आप खुद ही बोल रहे हो आपको नमाज भी पढ़नी है और आपकी नमाज भी नहीं पढ़ी जा रही क्योंकि there's this problem. Your I don't know if you've developed a UTI, if you're not drinking enough water. I don't know what it is, right? It could be a number of things. For instance, जो कैफियत आप describe कर रहे हो, मेरे साथ ये तब हुई थी. I was around 19 years old and I used to drink a lot of protein shakes, right? Because I was consuming so much protein shakes particularly, not just protein, because I was drinking so many protein shakes and I wasn't drinking enough water, I developed a UTI. And it would hurt every time I urinated. I would always feel like I needed to, right? And that's just, you know, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out kya ho raha tha. I was 18, 19, iske beech mein tha. या थोड़ा ऐसे भी छोटा था शायद. कराची में ही रहता था मैं. I used to work out hard. I used to take a lot of protein and yeah, it was as simple as drinking enough water, right? But I don't want to say that because I don't know what your exact situation is. Go see a doctor for that. For the psychological, philosophical aspect of it, it's not good for you because it subverts everything in your mind, right? Pehli baat, it primes your eyes, it primes your brain to focus on and look for things that you will find attractive. You just train your eyes to do that. And so then when you go out in public, you can't help but objectify women because that's all you know. Also, and you finally do have, get married or what have you, do have intercourse, um, women don't actually look like that. You know, men don't actually look like that the way they do in those videos. That's because those videos, like I said, are not apt depictions of real life. You know, and when you're overstimulated like that, how will you then enjoy the actual real thing that feels different? I don't want to say feels good or bad, but it feels different, right? But yeah, definitely go see a doctor, man. Allah rahm kare. खैर खैर तो आपको आपकी मुश्किल आसान करें इंशाल्लाह. Moving on, that's difficult, man. You know, the pornification of the male gaze is an actual problem. Wait, I'm gonna adjust my seat again. Oh, there we go. Maybe I should get a sofa or something. Yeah, that's always, you know. Khair. Oh man, this isn't good. This isn't good because it says depression, hollowness, deep question. That's okay. Sorry, I burped a little bit. Salam Kazi bhai, walaikum assalam. Happy New Year. Aapko bhi ho. Allah Taala aapko apne saman mein rakhe. It's midnight, and I'm having a cup of coffee somewhere in Europe listening to your Q&A session, which is very interesting. I'm doing PhD in Europe. So far, I am doing great with my life. Ups and downs are a part of life. So as PhD is a roller coaster. All right, cool. What are you doing your PhD in? That's cool, man. Somewhere in Europe. Sounds like a made up scenario. Lekin khair, koi baat nahi. I'll just have to take your word for it, which I do, right? I have no reason to not trust you. Oh wait, yeah, Mr. ABC is what you are. Okay, but you did. Your email address still has your name. मैं सिर्फ बता रहा हूँ. I'm not gonna say it, right? But khair. I have a very deep question in my mind for a long time, and I'm trying to search the answers in my mind. I believe you also had come across similar questions or thoughts sometimes. When I see life, that when we get almost all the major desires done that people think of, then there is a depression phase. I'm not sure if you also had gone through the same situation, but I feel hollowness deep inside, and I used to ask myself, what is the real purpose of life? And this question is very deep. Sometimes I feel like even though I have good life, but still there is something missing, and why I am here and what is the purpose of life and so on. Okay. I really struggle with this question a lot. I'm sure that you also had similar situation in life. How did you deal with that? Or did you get the answers? I would like to know your perspective on that. Thanks, Mr. ABC. So your name's actually in the email. I'm not going to say it, but this cloak and dagger stuff didn't really work for you. Well, I'd be really curious to know what you're doing your PhD in. Doesn't seem like it's in philosophy, because if it were in philosophy, you would, I think, have a more comprehensive manner of questioning, at least. These questions seem a little basic, with respect, obviously. So obviously there's going to be hollowness if you achieve all your goals, right? Because you need something to direct action. You need something to anchor your difficulties and your meaning in, like a meaning governing principle. I am doing this PhD, things are difficult, but whatever this PhD does for me, whatever kind of result I get from it is worth struggling for, is worth doing a difficult thing for, right? So yeah, when that is taken away from you and you don't have it, right? When your struggles do not have meaning, when everything seems purposeless, obviously there's going to be hollowness and difficulty. What you do is you develop short-term goals and you develop long-term goals. And the long-term goals are purposefully difficult, nearly impossible, ताकि आप constantly उसकी pursuit में रहें. That pursuit in and of itself has meaning, right? And the meaning is that you are pursuing something that is greater than yourself. I think that is the point of that pursuit sometimes. Okay, man. What is the real purpose of life? That again, you will have to figure out for yourself. But a good place to start is what sets your soul on fire. What appeals to you as something that you could do forever, right? Sometimes I feel even though I'm a good knife, but there's still something missing in why I am here. And yeah, that's all I'd say about that, dude. Also, referring to a question as deep is anticlimactic. You should show, don't tell. Right? You're just telling me it's a really really deep question, but I don't see it. I don't see that it's a deep question. You know what I mean? Allah rahm karega inshallah. But yeah, if you attain everything, if you achieve everything, you will feel hollowness because the meaning governing principle or the meaning governing factor is gone. There's something to be said about that. Sure. So Kazi bhai, respect from Karachi, Gulshan Hadid. वालेकुम अस्सलाम, मच रिस्पेक्ट फ्रॉम हैदराबाद. काजी भाई, मुझे व्लॉगिंग करनी है और मेरे पास कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट नहीं है, एक सस्ता सा फ़ोन है. शुड आई स्टार्ट? श्योर, या स्टार्ट. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. But if you feel like starting, you should start. There's no two ways about it. I believe Irfan bhai started with a phone. I don't know. उस ज़माने में सस्ता था या महंगा था मुझे नहीं पता है, but he started with a phone, right? There's people that have done tremendous work with the phone. But don't start because it's the cool thing to do. Like, do you want to tell stories? Do you want to vlog? Why do you want to vlog? Figure that out. And then absolutely, go ham. Definitely do it. Allah ko kamyab karega inshallah. Okay, no subject here. Sorry, I had to burp again. Hey Kazi, I have been following you for 1 or 2 years and I just wanted to write to you. 1 or 2, okay? I am just going through a point in life where I am just devastated. I have so much self-esteem issues. I feel like a loser going into depression. I don't know if this will be read or you'll reach out to me, but you're someone I look up to. Hope you can give me a good advice. Well, see, again, I don't know where to begin with this, right? First off, you didn't put any subject in the email subject panel, and that leads me to believe that maybe you're not putting in as much effort as you should in yourself. Like, are you taking yourself seriously? Like, that's something I would wonder. Uske upar, you're saying you're devastated, and I'm sorry, but then you're like, I'm going into depression. Are you using depression as a colloquialism? Ye slang hai, aap depression istemal kar rahe hain as something that, bad feelings? Like, that's what you mean? Or do you mean the actual chemical, like, illness, the mental illness? Because depression is a mental illness. It shouldn't be used casually. The word shouldn't be used like that, I don't know if this will be read. It's being read, but again, there's just no context. You haven't told me anything about your life. You're just telling me you have self-esteem issues. I think the best way to fix self-esteem issues is to treat yourself like someone you would take responsibility for, right? And what that means is, notice how you conduct yourself. How do you dress? How do you talk to people? How do you talk to your parents? How do you talk to your loved ones? Is that someone you would argue for? Is that someone you would fight for? Is that someone you would defend in any situation? And if not, become that person. Try at least, right? There's times मुझे जो self-hate hours वगैरह होते हैं, जो self-esteem issues होते हैं, मुझे तब होते हैं when I don't, like for instance, when I eat a lot, right? I am conducting myself as someone who I would not have empathy for. Someone who I would not like, or like se bhi zyada, someone who I would not have good feelings towards. Because if I'm eating all this food, gaining all this weight, mind you, I might have an eating disorder, but still, if I can fight it, I owe it to myself to fight it, right? And if I am going to take responsibility for this person, then I need this person to first be there for themselves. I need this person to understand themselves to be someone that's worth fighting for, right? I know that sounds a little convoluted, but I don't know if I can simplify it because these are not simple problems, right? You feel like a loser. Again, I really wish you had given me a little more detail. And I also wish that you had not use depression as a colloquialism here because I can't get over it, right? Now, because constantly I'll be confused. I'll be like, so is this depression? Or is this you just feeling bad? Because I'm not trivializing it. You could be feeling really, really bad. And it might not be depression. You know what I mean? So I hope you feel better, but also I hope that you start treating yourself like someone who you would take responsibility for. And मेरी उम्मीद ये है कि आप मुझे थोड़ा और कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे सको अगली बार अगर आप फिर कभी लिखो, दो आई डोंट नो कि इफ़ यू विल. चलें, let's see here. This is another one. This is cool. This is two emails actually. Okay, here we go again. No. Oh, there's a subject. I need sukoon. Don't we all, man? Let him kare. Assalamu Kazi bhai. I've been following you since the longest time, and you've helped me pass my time a lot and look at things differently. Really admire you. Acha, Allah raham karega. And you go, acha, so enough meat riding. All right, man. I appreciate it. Hi, I am 15 in O levels in Karachi. I'm a decent student. I give it my best and get quite satisfactory results and shit. And that's not an issue for me. Okay? थोड़े से slang है यहाँ पे. And that's not an issue for me. Das baby, DAS said das. That's not an issue for me. I keep everything balanced. The studying, hanging out, gym, etc., etc. At 15, you're working out. That's good. I hope you're getting good grades. Inshallah. The main issue for me is peace. At 15 years old, everywhere I go, there's people being loud, just speaking hoarsely, and I'm annoyed the fuck out by that. It's a real headache. I'm getting more and more paranoid by the minute. My cigarette use has increased at 15. Come on, dude. No. Let him get it. The main issue for me is peace, okay? At 15, you're telling me everyone's speaking hoarsely, you get annoyed, you get a little paranoid, and your cigarette use has gone up. Man, I'm really concerned about you. Ooh, okay. My workflow has decreased. I produce music as well, and it definitely has affected that too. Would appreciate help, Kazi bhai. Love. Okay, so I don't know. You've mentioned your name twice. I'm not going to take your name, right? I assume that's what you want because listen, dude, listen to me, right? I appreciate the fact that you're producing music and Allah ko kamyab kare, but you're not supposed to be smoking at 15, dude. Come on, right? You're never supposed to be smoking. It's not a good habit, but at 15, Allah rahim kare. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, here we go. But so far, people being loud and hoarse makes you paranoid, and you just can't seem to, operate in that kind of anxiety inducing. Should I call it that? In that kind of anxiety inducing environment. Fair enough, right? That's something that I have also struggled with in my life, and a lot of people do, right? That's nothing to scoff at. It's quite difficult. Let's see some more. So far, I don't know. I don't have any information to, kind of help or what have you. It doesn't help, K. The situation at my ghar isn't the best as well. We have a dad whom I'm not close to at all. I've barely talked to him. I dislike him, to be honest. He's away most of the time. My mom, well, I think she's aging now and she's becoming more and more negative. I have no counselor or guidance. My only goal is to escape my roots, perhaps. I don't know if I phrased that well enough. I see no hope in doing so, to be honest. Everything is piling up and it's changing me, Kazi bhai. I like who I am, but I'm turning into a more shady, dark, and secretive person now. I used to be the heart of every party, class, or any sort of gathering. Now I just sit in a corner with a few guys I'm always with. They're good friends though. I don't know, Kazi bhai. I don't know. Allah rahim karega. Jani, that's none of this sounds easy. None of this is going to be easy, but also I think you've been brave in speaking about your problems, right? And that's something. There's something to be said about that, right? So this version of yourself that you're turning into, you described a few qualities, but I for the life of me, I can't understand if this is entirely a negative or a bad thing. You said you're turning into someone who's a little more secretive, a little, more sober. You said dark, but I don't know what dark means. Are you a little more realistic, a little more pragmatic? That's not so bad, is it? Also, you said you're the life of the party. Maybe you don't have to always be the life of the party. Do you know what I mean? Like is that something that that you've ever considered? Maybe the life of the party is not something you need to be. That's a lot of pressure on you. No? Khair, you're also 15, and this is a lot, right? But as of right now, I think the work will lie. First off, obviously, if you can get to a therapist, I think that's where you start. But if you don't want to go for therapy, that's also fine. You start journaling, Really start putting your thoughts down and start figuring out what's bothering you. What's the actual problem? Where does it all stem from? Is it your home? Is it the alienation or aloofness you feel towards your dad? Is that something that's bothering you? Like actually, right? What's actually the cause of all this? Is it the noise? And by the noise, what do you mean? What do you mean noise, right? Where what part of the daily feels like noise? Is it everything? You don't want to focus on anything? And if not, right? None of that is inherently bad, but you just have to figure out why it's becoming this way, why it's becoming too much, why is there so much noise, why did you start smoking at 15, why did you ever feel the need to be the life of the party, right? I feel like it's a lot of work, right? But I feel like once you start, they're gonna fall in place, like puzzle pieces, right? एक बार आप लिखना शुरू करोगे, म्यूजिक आप वैसे प्रोड्यूस करते हो, maybe. So if you produce music, so you're definitely not doing the lyrics, right? But maybe think about what kind of music resonates, right? And I'm not like everyone likes the young stunners, right? But even if you like the young stunners or what have you, why? What song do you like? What lyrics do you like particularly? Do you like Tala Anjum or Tala Yunus? All of that matters. All of that will help you get to the root of whatever it is that's bothering you. Because there's going to be a primary problem that's going to then manifest itself in all these different ways. And you have to get to that primary problem, right? Like for the longest time, I'd be really obnoxious. I'd be really loud, right? I'd be loud, always fix my face up to seem kind of scary, you know, and couldn't figure out what exactly it was that was happening. And then, you're 15, I'm literally 15 years older than you. And in that time, I did a lot of journaling, did a lot of self-reflection and so on and so forth. I did a lot of martial arts, sports, alhamdulillah for all of those things, studying, right? All that, Allah ka shukr hai. And ended up the conclusion that I was actually extremely insecure in my physicality, in my body. I felt afraid. I felt afraid that I would be bullied. I felt afraid that I would be physically inadequate. And so I had to scare people away. And that's why I was behaving the way I was behaving, right? So, misal hai, it doesn't have to be your situation at all. Lekin, कहने का मकसद ये है कि you want to go towards whatever it is that is at the root of how you feel. And that applies for most situations, I think. Seldom is it the case that you're behaving because of something that's readily available in your environment. You're reacting to your environment, but that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Your actions aren't predicated on your environment. The environment is a trigger for something inside you. Whatever that something inside you is what needs to be figured out. Right? Having said that, I really hope that you get sorted. And I'm sorry, man, at 15, you're doing all this. But again, जो काम आप कर रहे हैं वो छोड़ना नहीं है. सिवाय सिगरेट छोड़ देनी है फौरन से. I really hope you get rid of that habit. I'm sorry, man. I don't like. There's rehabs in Karachi that you might want to facilitate, or you might want them to facilitate you. I don't know how you're going to go about this, but yeah, that's not good. That is not good, right? Allah Rehm karega. But other than that, I really hope you keep up with the music production and all those things. None of that is a bad thing, And I've said this before in this podcast. These strong emotions, even if they're negative, they will inform your work, especially if it's any work really, but especially if it's in the arts. It will inform your art, and I don't know if it's a bad thing entirely. It's bad that you're experiencing all this negativity, right? That's not good. I'm not going to say that's good. But having said that, something good could come of it, of these potent emotions, right? Allah Rehm karega. Anyhow, I have run out of questions as of right now. As always, it's callakazi, CALLAKAZI @gmail.com. But please do not send me your essays and ask me to give my comments on them or anything of that sort. This is primarily for the podcast, this email address, and I would hope that you treat it as such. Having said that, I hope you're whelmed. I hope you're good. We're trying to figure out how to get the podcast in its original form back with the guests and all. But until then, we'll hopefully keep doing this, inshallah. There's some other things in the works. Recently had the fortune and pleasure of working with Raza Samo and Tiri on a little something that'll be out. I don't know when it'll be out, but excited for you to check that out. उसके अलावा क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं कर रहा यार मैं अल्लाह रहम करे yeah definitely remember me in your prayers and here's to hoping that I get more work in terms of sponsored content and all those things, but that's always the hope, inshallah. And I am also working on this one other thing that I will keep a secret, but that involves more travel, involves me experiencing places and spaces that I haven't experienced before. At least I haven't documented them, right? So that's something that's exciting. But yeah, I'll include timestamps. Links are all in the bio, description, or what have you. And I will see you or speak to you soon, inshallah. Allah rahim karega. Assalamu alaikum.